What is up, you guys? Right here is my 1980 C3 Corvette. I got it a couple months ago and I have already done a lot of work to it to get this thing restored. And also, we are tossing an LS into it. So far, I've given this thing a brand new paint job, which turned out pretty good. It does need wet sand, buffed and polished, but it turned out pretty nice. The frame is fully painted and looks real freaking good. Real good. I'm real happy with how that turned out. Right here, we got a little LS1 for it. Really pumped about this. It has 83,000 miles on it. Super good condition. I bore scoped all of the cylinders. They all look phenomenal. And in this video, we will begin tackling the interior, which, in contrast to the bright new, brand new paint, looks real bad. The very first thing we need to do is cut this transmission tunnel. And here is the beautiful reason to why we're cutting this tranny tunnel. We need to fit my brand new Tramic TKO 5-speed transmission. This thing can hold 600 foot-pounds, which is honestly overkill for a bone stock LS1. This thing only makes, you know what? This little beauty plate says right here, let's see, 300 foot-pounds of torque. So almost double of what this engine can make is what that tranny can hold. So we're gonna be a little overkill, but later on, this engine will be making a little bit more ponies. Anyway, that is enough talking. I don't wanna bore you guys too much. Let's just get right into it. Okay, it is time to cut the transmission. I've already kind of marked out a line right here. I'm using a mud knife or whatever you wanna call it to draw nice straight lines. It actually works pretty well. I also have a square, which that would also obviously work. But anyway, this is kind of what we're going for here. We just really need to cut out these low spots. So right here is a really major low spot, and then we also have another one right here. So we're gonna just kind of go around like so. I already have my mark all the way to here. We'll probably just cut right through this for now, and then we'll come up and then just kind of do the same thing on the other side. So I think we can leave all of this. We'll see. I mean, I've measured and it seems like width-wise we're good for the rear, and I think height-wise we'll be fine too. I really just think the main issue is just these divots, and those just won't work. So anyway, let's go ahead, mark this thing out, and then we'll start cutting. All right, I don't know if you guys can really see the line. I can barely see it, so I doubt you guys can. But I kind of have a rough shape of what I want to cut out. Now, once we're done cutting, I'll probably go back in and trim some things and make it look a little prettier. Just because, I mean, honestly, it's a little bit hard with all the curves and whatnot to get it where I really want it. But I kind of looked at some images online, and I think we're going to be cutting out everything that's going to be causing issues. So let's go ahead and just start cutting. That was not too bad, I believe. Oh, that's where I was kind of working out. Let's see if I can't just do one of these. Right there was kind of a pain. There we go. Okay, well, that's done. Now I have a big old hole in my car. No going back now, right? I definitely need to come back through with the die grinder, clean up some of this, because oof. I gotta say, I don't know why DeWalt made this die grinder so long, but it makes it very difficult to get into some spaces. Like right here, I was really struggling to get the angle right to cut that. So I had to like kind of just chomp at it a few different ways until it kind of gave. So that's unfortunate, but is what it is. Anyway, we're gonna come back through with the die grinder, smooth out all these edges, and then we'll probably round these out a little bit. Basically make them not sharp. And then over here, I wanna cut out a little bit more of that fiberglass. Just because it's notched in, I don't know if it'll get in the way of the bell housing, but I would rather get it out of the way now. So we'll do that. But yeah, you guys, we cut a hole in my car. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Tomorrow I'll come back through, do the die grinding and whatnot. And then we will start prepping this car for paint. Because, well, not the whole car obviously, but the interior. I wanna get this thing painted. We're just gonna use some Rust-Oleum. It will look just fine. I mean, all of this is getting sound deadening anyway, so you're not really gonna see any of it, but I wanna get this Rust-Oleum laid down. It'll make it look really good. It'll cover any surface rust that there is, which is pretty much none, but it will cover it and it will look dang good. So that is the plan. That is the plan. It is the next day. I got my die grinder all ready with a carbide bit on it. Let's go ahead and clean up these cuts, make it look a little better, make sure that there's no sharp edges. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do it. After a little die grinding, it's looking much better. Cleaned up all the sharp edges. Still not the prettiest thing ever, but you know, at least carpet and whatnot in the center console will cover this. It is now time for the wire wheeling. This shouldn't be too bad. It should be pretty quick. We really just want to go through, remove any of the loose stuff. I'm gonna really focus on a lot of this seam sealer. That's my main concern, honestly, because some of it is really loose and just will pop off. So I want to find those areas that are loose and are just gonna, you know, they're not even sealing anything up anymore. Make sure we remove those, and then we'll come back through before we paint and put new seam sealer down. That's my main concern, because I want to keep this thing watertight. But it'll be nice because the wire wheeling will also remove any overspray and also loose material and give us a little bit of a mechanical adhesion bite for the paint. But I'm not too concerned about that because, well, this is all getting covered with sound deadening and carpet and stuff. So there's not really going to be anything that can hit the paint to cause it to chip or anything like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's go ahead and start wire wheeling. Okay, that went by pretty quick. It did bust through a lot of the seam sealer pretty easily and kind of showed me some areas that definitely need some seam sealer, which it was areas that I kind of expected. Like on the passenger floorboard at one point, I'm guessing they probably ran over a curb or something because the front clip had some damage. They repaired that and they did a really good job. But anyway, the floorboard actually got bent up and separated from the fiberglass firewall. So I had to kind of fix it. I bent it back into shape and riveted it back into place. Luckily, none of the fiberglass cracked or anything on the firewall. It just, the rivets got ripped through. But anyway, that is all fixed. But the seam sealer also broke, which funny enough, when I got this car and I tore everything apart, you know what they used instead of like automotive seam sealer? They used like shower caulking. So it didn't adhere at all. Like it literally just, I remember I could grab it and just peel it up. I'm sure it was better than nothing, but it definitely not what you're supposed to do. Anyway, definitely need to put seam sealer over there. And I didn't really hit any of the fiberglass with the wire wheel because it can chew through it a little bit. And honestly, I'm not too worried about adhesion because like I said, it's the interior, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm painting the exterior of the car where you got to really worry about if a rock chip happens, well, is it going to peel everything up, or, oh, it's going to get sun and you got to worry about that. And no, it's just the interior. It's going to get covered by sound deadening and carpet and a dash and A-pillars and T-top strip. Like, you're not going to see any of this, so I don't really care. We'll just make it decent, clean it up really, really well. We will degrease it a lot and make sure it's clean. And all the loose material is removed, but yeah. Anyway, enough ranting. I know I'm repeating myself. I need to get better at that, my bad. Let's go ahead and go through with this little scraper guy. And I'm gonna just go out some of the seam sealer and remove a lot of it. Mostly on the passenger floorboard. That's my main concern because all of that needs replaced. On the driver's side, we're just gonna kind of poke around, and if anything's loose, I'm gonna remove it. Before I start, I just wanna show you the passenger floor. So right here is where it kind of cracked. It's kind of hard to tell with all the debris that's in there right now, but right here, the seam sealer split off. So yeah, and it actually went all the way down. Like, there's not even seam sealer over here. So yeah, versus on that side, there's seam sealer all the way down. So we'll make sure this is all sealed up good. Even over here, actually, the seam sealer busted. So they must have hit a really good curb. But like I said, whoever did it did really good body work and fixed this really well. Like, you wouldn't even know that this was all damaged. So whoever did it did a good job. They just didn't bother to fix the floor pans, which, I mean, to be fair, I kind of get it, but they should have just went through a seam sealer and did that correctly. So you didn't have to worry about water getting in or exhaust, or, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's do this. Now that we're done removing all the loose seam sealer, or at least most of it, we might run into more and I'll take care of it when we do. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning. So the first thing we're gonna do is hit this with the shop vac. It's now time to go ahead and begin degreasing and also cleaning up dust. There's really not a lot of grease in here, but there is a lot of dust. So I have Pore 15 degreaser diluted with some really hot water and then a rag. And you guys know where this is going. It's probably gonna take me an hour of scrubbing. So we're gonna scrub this thing as clean as possible, make sure all that dust and all, well, there's not really a lot of grease, as I said, but any grease that is in there is cleaned up so that we have a nice, clean surface for the paint. this cleaned up extremely well. I'm kind of surprised. I think that we can get away with just one bath. Like, it looks really, really clean. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is get my air compressor, and we're just gonna blow everything out. That way we make sure that there's no water in like nooks and crannies like this, or like in here. Make sure it's completely dry. And then once that's done, we will begin the seam sealer. Instead of hitting this with the air compressor, I just let it air dry for a few hours, and it looks perfectly fine to move ahead. So right here, I got my seam sealer. So we will go ahead and begin seam sealing these seals. Seam sealer went on extremely easy, no problems there. And now we are ready to paint. So depending on what brand you use and stuff, this might vary, but for this one, which is Pleo Grip, I think I'm saying that right, I don't know. You can paint it immediately, but because I'm doing roll-on, I wanted it to be slightly not tacky, you know what I mean? Like, it needed to cure a little bit, but you have up to 3 hours to paint over top of it so that the paint chemically bonds to the seam sealer. If you don't paint it within that 3 hour window, you need to wait and then scuff it. And then after you scuff it, then you can get mechanical adhesion and you're good to go. Anyway, we are in that 3 hour window and we're good to paint. So let's start laying down this black paint, which I'm just using some cheap Rust-Oleum. It's the 2-in-1 Rust Reform and Seal. I used it on the frame. It's actually pretty tough stuff. It's not bad. I will say like Pour 15 is a little bit better, but this is the interior of the car. It truly does not matter that much. I don't even have to paint it, but I just want this to all be beautiful, and then we'll apply killmat right over it and you won't see the paint at all anymore. But anyway, let's paint. it is the next day. All the paint is dry, and man, this looks freaking sweet. Oh, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It looks really good. It looks so good, especially the floorboards, because these looked disgusting before, because there were like 3 different colors and they just looked bad. But now, just a nice flat black. It looks really good. I'm super excited to paint this A-pillar and also like this T-top area, because that is like pretty much the last thing on the car that looks disgusting. Well, I guess we also have in here, which we will be painting black as well. But oh, really happy with how that turned out. I also have my kill mat here, which we'll be putting on in the next few days. And then over top of the kill mat, we're gonna put some insulation down. If you guys don't know, C3 Corvettes cook your feet. It gets really hot down there. So I'm gonna try my best to prevent that and make it livable. But anyway, that is the end of this video. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I will see you guys in the next one.